Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? I am a South African woman who became jobless because I was misusing company funds. I was an attorney and I got fired, and I ended up doing Ukuthwala Rituals, but I was helped by a Nigerian, and this guy, he sacrificed my baby after he had impregnated me. He even took me to the clinic where I had to remove the family planning method that I was using so that he can impregnate me in the middle of his altar. He was the priest, and then after he had impregnated me, that was when we did that horrible deed of him forcing me to have an abortion, for the blood was needed as well as the fetus for me to become wealthy. I did this because I was so desperate. I was on the verge of losing my house, but now I am regretting the life that I am living. It is quite a lonely life, but what is even making things to be worse, I am an alcoholic and I don't even know what to do anymore. So when it all started, it was after university. I then started working for this other law firm as an attorney, and this law firm, it was a company that belonged to one of my late father's friend. So they took me in because they wanted to help me to at least have some experience, and then I can find something better. I worked for them. The company was growing. By the time that I left the company, I had made a lot of money for the company, and then I applied for a job for another company. Then I started working there. I can say that the moment that I started working for the other company, I was spoiled a lot because I was someone who was known for winning cases and as well as getting a lot of clients. So the company bought a car for me, and at the place where I was staying, it was a company house. I had everything. I was married off to my husband. We had one child, and then that was when I lost my job. The reason as to why I lost my job, I was always taking this business, so-called business trips, but in reality they were just vacations. I would go on personal vacations using the company funds. They tolerated me until they told me that it was not sustainable for someone to fly abroad for a business meeting. Then they decided to let me go. I was jobless for about a month. I returned back to the company which I worked for after I had finished my university, and then I started working there. So they trusted me a lot, and by the time that I returned there, when I looked at the financials, I saw that indeed the company was making a lot of money, like a lot of money. And then at that time I spoke with them and I told them that there were other things that we could do that would become more profitable for the business. So they trusted me a lot, and they said that I was really intelligent. And the problem that I had was that I liked to show people that I had money. I no longer had a car at that time, and after they had trusted me, that was when I started embezzling millions, and then I bought myself a Porsche, I bought my husband a car, and then we bought another house. So my husband then started talking, and then I decided to dump him. I dumped my husband, but the debts, they kept on growing. It was better when we were still together. Instead of me taking a pause and making sure that I settled all of my bills, but no, I still wanted to show the people that I went with to university that I had made it in life. I took this other particular trip, which I went to Italy. That was the last straw that break the camel's back. Whilst I was in Italy, I then ended up hooking up with this other guy who squandered most of the money that I still had in my account. He was a white guy, very romantic. This guy, I bought him designer clothes, and he wanted this other watch, which was like quite expensive. I only noticed by the time that I returned back to South Africa that the romantic thing that had happened between me and that white guy, it had costed me a lot, and it was going to take a very long time for me to recover. I tried everything that I could of all the vehicles that I had. I thought that I was going to resell them, but because I had defaulted on most of the payments, there was no way that I could sell them and at least repay back the money. So those cars, I stopped paying them until they were repossessed one by one. The towing trucks, they came to the place where I was staying, taking off the Porsche, the BMW, and these are the Mercedes-Benz that I loved the most. It was towed away, taken away, and then it was the house, the eviction notices. They came until I went back to the bank. I spoke with them and I made a payment plan. After I had made a payment plan, even though I knew that I did not have any money at all, I thought that I was going to manage with the salary that I was earning. That was when an audit was done at the company where I was working. They asked me a lot of questions in which I could not answer any of those questions, and then I got fired. When I got fired, I then turned to alcohol, and I was really feeling so cheap at that time, hooking myself to Nigerians. That was when I met a guy who told me that he could assist me, not financially, but he could assist me because he knew this other guy who was a priest in their country. These witch doctors, some of them, they call them your priests, but in our country we call them sangomas. We went to that guy and I did not even see him as a sangoma. He was a good-looking man, and I begged for a solution to all of my problems. He told me that there was a way, and I was really desperate. I said, anything, it is okay. I wanted to believe in anything at that time. So me and him, we spoke, and he told me that he was going to call out to the demons that give money. A demon, if it was me in the past, I could have run away. The mention of demons would have made me to run away. But in that moment, I was really desperate. I never cared if the devil himself was going to appear and give me the money, or if it was going to be a demon. No matter what, I did not even care. He told me that they were going to initiate me, and everything that I had lost was going to be restored. So there was a requirement. I had to be his child. We started sleeping together, for this was the ritual. I became pregnant. The pregnancy was difficult, both physically and emotionally, for I knew that the baby that was growing inside of me was going to be removed one day, and a terrible ritual was going to take place. When the time came, he came and he collected me, and they prepared me for the sacrifice which took place at this other estate. I was taken there, but I could not see properly where we were going because it was a Mercedes-Benz Vito bus that came and picked me up. This vehicle, it had tinted windows such that I could not even see where we were going. They made me to sit at the back. I only saw that we entered this other estate after traveling, I can say approximately for about 3 hours. Where we were headed to, I could not even recognize because they said it was part of the ritual. So I avoided looking into the front so that I can see where we were going. By the time that we arrived at the estate, I was fast asleep. Then I woke up, I looked, and I saw that the security detail at the gate, it meant that this was a gated community. I got in there, and then I was taken to the house, and then they started to prepare me for the ritual that was supposed to happen at night. When we did this ritual, I was 6 months pregnant. I could even feel the baby that was moving and kicking around. The baby was really happy, not knowing that it was the day that we were going to end its life, and I was not going to be allowed to view if this baby was a boy or if it was a girl, give birth, and then it was going to be taken away from me for the sake of money. When the time came, they stripped me naked. The guy he slept with me, he said that he was opening up my private part for when the time has arrived so that I won't feel so much pain. I was given some herbs that I was supposed to drink. After drinking those herbs, I started hearing contractions that the baby was getting ready to come out. It was really painful. I felt labor pains from around 6 p.m. until when, I don't know if I can say I gave birth or when I had that miscarriage. It was somewhere around 3 a.m. There was no cry, there was nothing, just silence. They took the fetus and they went with it outside where they had prepared a fire. When the sun was going down, they kept on adding more wood to the fire. The guy, he had gone out and they had bought this dry wood from this other supermarket, like a lot of this wood, and they kept on adding it to the fire. When the time came, they took me outside. I was in pain, but they told me to watch from a distance, and then they placed it on top of the fire. They placed the baby on top of the fire. I think by that time it had already passed away, and then the ritual started. They kept on calling upon the name of the demon, which I could not recall because I was in pain. That was when an explosion happened, and then they said it was okay, we could go back inside. They let the baby keep on burning to ashes. By the time we woke up, everything had been cleaned out. I don't know where they went, and they threw away all of that stuff. And then they told me to return back to Joburg. They had given me a necklace, which I still have to this very day, and I started making money. I started a small company, which is a consulting company, and then I was working with this other guy who is into tenders. With the luck that I had because of the rituals, he has been winning tenders after tenders, all because of me. This is how I am making my money. So I started to get so lonely, because what I noticed was that whenever I am with a man, that man, I'll just give him an STI that will destroy our relationship. This has been going on and on. Now it does not even matter. If I sleep with a man using protection, he will catch an STI from me. So this made me to become an alcoholic because of this loneliness that I feel. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admin who helped us with this translation. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Yo.